Transition from small to medium businesses is where the challenge comes in.
So me as a business owner, saving my time, my energy.
You can manage the entire process all the way from bill of materials.
When do I realize that I need this application?
You don't have the clear visibility of your business. Do I really have the technology to let my customer know that this is how much time it's going to take? Do not try to sell something which you know that might not be useful for the business.
Welcome back, Nitesh, to our Dynamics Insight podcast. We are really honored to have you back, and especially after having a first podcast ever based on ERP, the basics of ERP that we discussed, and every challenges that every industry faces. And it was a great insights from you, and we got a huge engagement from that. So thank you so much for that, and that's why today we are here to discuss about one of the best innovation that Microsoft Dynamics 365 could ever give us, and that is Business Central. So let's dive into Business Central for today, and let's talk about it in a detailed way and how it functions. Why is it important for all SMBs and SMEs, especially SMBs and SMEs, and what are your thoughts about it?
Thank you so much, Amita, first of all, for having me here again. I think the last conversation was fantastic for me as well. And I just, can't wait to continue where we left off. So really looking forward to a conversation today. So thank you so much once again.
That's great, actually. And could you give us a small briefing about Business Central? And then we can talk more about it in detail later. But could you give us like a small definition? What is Business Central? Why it is important for every small businesses, especially for small businesses to have that application?
So Dynamics 365 Business Central is a mid-market ERP from Microsoft that primarily caters to the small and medium companies that are looking to scale their operations. So who have actually moved on from accounting or legacy applications, and they now want to look at cloud as an option where
Right.
Microsoft Dynamics thrives big time. If you look at the entire ecosystem out there and the, let's say, Business Central per se, so what primarily it does is it connects people, processes, and data across different business units. So when I talk about business units, I'm talking about finance, procurement, sales, production, inventory, budgeting. So you look at this application, which can not only connect all these applications, but also give you real-time insights in terms of the reporting capabilities that it has got. So all in all, if you are a business, small or medium, are looking for a futuristic application that not only can take care of your present needs, but it will give you AI and other technologies going forward, Business Central has to be the only option you should go ahead with.
Okay. So you're trying to say is that any business that has outgrown its systems, they can pursue this application for more seamless workflow, right?
So when we talk about workflow, we're talking about the financials workflow, inventory workflow, production workflow. So if you look at any app business, so there are different workflows that happens in any business, right? And this is what it does. It's primarily, it's like a single source of truth for the businesses. You don't need different applications. You don't need to manage different vendors
Absolutely.
to cater to all these departments. You just need one single application that it allows the processes and people to connect because cloud-based ERP solution infused by AI now, which I'll be more than happy to discuss going forward.
Before moving forward with a detailed discussion about Business Central, of course, I want to begin with the scratch. Scratch as in history of the Business Central. Like there was Dynamics NAV, right?
Absolutely.
Before this. And there were many versions, I suppose, right? And I want you to give me a history of Business Central. What made Microsoft to shift to NAV to Business Central,
So Dynamics Navision or Navision was a Danish product.
okay.
Earlier. And Microsoft bought this application way back in 2002 for $1.3 billion. And by the time 2005 came in, Microsoft rebranded all the applications, not only in Navision, but also other applications like GP, SL, and AX, into Dynamics. So this Dynamics word actually came way back in 2005. So you look at all the applications, then Dynamics, Navision became Dynamics Navision, AX became Dynamics AX, SL became Dynamics SL. And
Like it kept upgrading.
yes, it was more of a rebranding, which Microsoft did.
Okay.
For their ERP line of applications, called it Dynamics. So the earlier versions back then was Navision 3.0 and Navision 4.0. It then went on to Navision 5 and then 2009, where a big shift happened, which was purely around that Microsoft released, starting from the Navision 2009 version. You then have different versions, which was updated by Microsoft from 2009 to 13 to 15 to 16, 17, 18, and now Business Central. In Business Central also, the on-premise version was launched earlier because I believe Microsoft was seeing this opportunity where cloud was the way forward for the partners and for the companies as well.
Yeah, but could you explain Business Central and cloud? Cloud is what actually the entire world is shifting to now. They're all, most of the companies have already, most of the businesses have already started to shift to cloud, and I'm sure the future is cloud, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what is the role of Business Central in this cloud?
Yeah, absolutely. So see, when we talk about business and the cloud, the first and foremost thing we have to understand is that once you move to the cloud, all the future upgrades and patch releases are managed by Microsoft directly. So there is no intervention of any partner or any third-party provider to make those adjustments or updates for you. So for instance, Microsoft releases two major updates every year. They call it as Wave 1 and Wave 2.
Right.
Wave 1 they release around April, May, and Wave 2 primarily gets released around October, November time every year. You do get some small cumulative updates as well from Microsoft throughout the year. And when I'm talking about updates, I'm not just talking about Business Central upgrades. I'm talking about the entire suite of Microsoft Dynamics and Power Platform that will get all these updates from Microsoft every year. So first and foremost is that once you move to the cloud, you are not only investing in the present, you are investing in the future technology. And now we are living in this era of AI and Copilot. So
Of course.
businesses can expect a lot of AI technologies that will get released once they move to the cloud.
Within Business Central.
Absolutely.
Okay. I wanted to ask you this question from you, Nitesh. As the business, supposedly I'm a small business owner, right? And I start to progress and my departments keep expanding day by day. For some reason, I don't know what's the term that we call, unconsciously I would say, you can correct me later. We tend to, these different departments tend to create data silos.
Yep.
So, we'll come to the modules part as well for Business Central. But before that, I want you to explain what is data silos and what happens and how dangerous it is for all of the businesses.
Right.
Be it any sizes.
It's a pretty interesting question, and this is one of those questions which we get in almost every conversation where a company is planning to scale their operations. So if you look at any scenario, when a company starts operating, they primarily tend to go for an accounting application which covers just the core finance, where you've got your chart of accounts, general ledger, accounts receivables, accounts payable. You can do vendor payments, you can receive payment from customers. So this is primarily the core feature of an accounting application. It serves to an extent for business that is could be a startup or a small business. But when they transition from small to medium businesses, right, this is where the challenge comes in. So if you look at any company, they've done I would say reasonably well in terms of the initial years of their operations. Now they want to scale their operations. So when I say scale the operations, they want to bring in the production unit. They want to bring in the warehouse, for instance. They want to have the integration with the third-party logistic provider where actually it keeps the stock for them, and they want to understand. They want a real-time data flow between all these departments. So if you look at this scenario, what usually happens, companies tend to offer different applications during this time. They already have an accounting application. They might go for an MRP application. They may go for another WMS solution.
That's so chaotic to me.
Absolutely. And what happens is that there is no integration. So purchase or sales team, there's a gap between them. Finance team doesn't know what we are procuring, at which rate, and at which rate we are selling. So there's no integration. And then what happens, you tend to integrate all these applications through the help of different vendors. You do have data connectors available. It can do the job for you. But it's not a single source of truth. So you are primarily dependent on 3 different solution providers, not only from the technology perspective, but also from the licensing perspective, making sure that you're coordinating with them, they understand you, you understand them in a better way. And articulation is very important here, because at times businesses, especially the main users who are very good in doing their job, they might not be able to explain their requirement in a better way. So you are in a situation where you are managing different vendors, and then you tend to overcomplicate things which could have been easily solved by an ERP application that by default connects all these processes. So this is what creates different data silos, different, then you talk about spreadsheets, you talk about different data sources that just does not connect to each other. And then integration becomes a challenge. And then at times you are at the mercy of your provider that, this is what we have got right now. What next? You can still do the job. You may still be able to run the operations.
Mismanagement.
Absolutely. And if you look at your competitors, they are moving forward on the cloud. They are investing on latest technology. Then you're left behind. So then what happens? Your stock control is not on time. You're not able to let your customer know what is the lead time that they will get their orders for. So there are a lot of, chaotic things happen.
Right.
And this is what Business Central does. It just connects all these processes. It acts like a single source of truth. So I think this is what it does in terms of breaking different data silos. And then you can also add a layer of reporting as well. For instance, I am an owner. I want to understand which are my top 10 customers, which are my top 10 vendors where we, source products from.
Actually, yeah.
I want to understand my balance sheet. I want to understand the cash flow for this month, or let's say for the quarter. So you're primarily dependent on different applications. Then you need another layer of reporting. So why don't you need all this? You just need one application, and it's the job of an ERP applications to give you the real-time insights, rather than you letting the business or application know. The application should tell you that, okay, this is what your company is doing, right? All the way from the sales orders that you have processed per month, the number of invoices that you have processed per month. So there are a number of scenarios that that can be achieved very seamlessly once you move to Business Central. And this is by virtue, you break all these data silos, because you get all these processes or departments connected in a single system.
So me as a business owner, I'm saving my time, my energy. I'm not going through any mismanagement. I'm not stuck in between a pile of papers inside a one cabin, right?
So in terms of pile of papers, it's a pretty good point that you have raised. So what happens normally when companies, they receive invoices from the vendor, right? So you raise a purchase order to a vendor to get some item, and they, invoice you and receive the items. If you're a business that is receiving a lot of invoices every month, it takes a hell lot of time for you to process those invoices. First, what you will do is you will cross-check with your purchase order. You will see the amount is right. You then tend to process the payment for the vendor. Now comes a situation where you have thousands of invoices that you need to process every month.
And that manually.
You can imagine the accounts payable team, the kind of workload that they get at the end of the month. Now, what if I tell you that this all can be automated through the OCR functionality, which Microsoft Dynamics Business Central has got? So what it does, it reads the incoming invoices for you. We definitely would need to adopt an add-on for that. But it reads the emails, invoices for you. It then feeds that directly into Business Central.
So if I want to send an automated email to them, slash text message to them, and will that Outlook application will be able to do that?
Yeah, so how it works is, so you would need one common email address. So it could be, let's say, for accounts payable. It could be accounts payable at xyz.com. And you just have to make sure that the vendor sends you the invoices on that particular email address.
Right.
And as soon as that email gets hits into that inbox, the application will read that invoice of that email. It will feed into Business Central directly. Then, as an accounts payable professionally, all you have to do is obviously first cross-check whether that matches with the PO or not. You then either can approve it or reject it or can make amendments. So that saves a hell lot of time. Normally, companies who manage all these processes, they tend to spend at least 2-3 business days at the end of the month just to process these invoices and to make sure that you get the right reporting out of it. So this is the power of Business Central. This is what it does for the companies, and this is just one scenario I'm talking about. There are different scenarios that can be automated. All you need is right understanding of the business processes, and then implementing that correctly so that businesses can leverage this technology at their end.
So those 2-3 business days that have kind of gone wasted for me, not wasted, but more where would I have done better? How to grow my business, or I've given a better output to another department of my business.
See, what Business Central does is that, it allows you to focus on your core. And your core is your business. It's not managing different different, we can say, manual adjustments that you do or task. So it is the job of the ERP, like Business Central, do that job for you, right?
So it'll do that job. It'll keep doing that job behind me, and I'll be doing my work.
Absolutely, and it eventually makes you efficient as a business owner, as a business user, so that you can do more of what you want to do or you are good at, and let the technology take care of the back office operations for you.
That's great, actually. Thank you so much. So, coming back to our topic, the different modules and departments of Business Central. What are those? And could you give us I really don't know about it. So give me a full brief explanation, like how it works, what are its different modules and departments.
So firstly, Business Central works both for trade and distribution and manufacturing companies. So it covers all the core modules starting from finance, ARAP, production, sales and service, inventory, budgeting and all. So now if you go in bit detail in all those modules, in finance, you've got your chart of accounts, general ledger. It includes cash flow. It includes the AR NAP module. So AP module is primarily for your vendor payments and vendor management, invoicing.
Right.
And for the AR process, you've got your customer payments, credits, and managing the customer life cycle in terms of really understanding who are my top 10 customers, right? And to which customer I can sell more of these specific products. So this is what a core module of the finance module per se in Business Central does. You then add a layer of the reporting side. So you've got a comprehensive financial reporting tool in Business Central. So you've got your dimensions and you've got account schedules that really allows the users and the business to build their own reports directly from the application. You then have the sales and service management, which is primarily your CRM functionality, which is there in Business Central. Many companies tend to confuse Business Central, whether it's an ERP or a CRM application.
Okay.
It is not a full-fledged CRM application, definitely. Business Central, but it does cover basic functionalities in terms of managing your leads, opportunities, customers. This is all can be done in the application. You then have the warehouse module, which caters to goods in and goods out process. So as soon as you receive an item in your warehouse, from the putaways all the way to shipping, the entire life cycle of that unit or that item can be managed directly from the application.
Okay.
There are chances that you might need to adopt some handheld or WMS solutions to automate all this. But if you're a business that wants to, they don't want to bring in that WMS solution for now, you can still manage the inventory in terms of stock control, in terms of making sure that your replenishment and planning happens on real-time basis, and you're able to fulfill the orders that you get from the customers.
So just to add on this, can you elaborate more on this production module?
So see, let's say if you're a business that is that produces an item, it could be in the UK or any part of the world. You can manage the entire process all the way from bill of materials to the managing the planning worksheet, the requisition around that. This all can be done directly within the application.
Okay.
So if I look at, I'll give a real-time example. So let's say if a sales order gets created into Business Central, the sales team puts in that data, puts that order into Business Central. The system eventually tracks the inventory level, whether the stock is there or not. If it is there, well and good, we can straight away ship the product to the customer. If not, then the requisition happens. Then the application automatically creates the purchase order for the vendor. Requisition as in like, let's say if I do not have the item which I've got the order for, I don't need to manually raise the purchase order to the vendor.
Okay.
So there's a limited stock level that you can maintain into Business Central. So let's say beyond that limit, let's say for a specific unit, I at least need to have a unit of at least 10 units in my stock, right? And if that threshold gets break, then the application raises the purchase order directly to the vendor, so that you can then process the order and fulfill that order for the customer. It also happens on real time. So if you look at as soon as you process the sales order, the application, the data workflow will go not only from sales, but it will go to the production, the inventory. Even your finance team will know that what item we have bought and at which rate we are selling to the customer, and what is the cost around that. Along with that, what it also does is that it also gives the information to the warehouse team, for instance, in terms of managing your inbound and outbound logistics. So you can then manage the expectations. Okay, that by this time, this day, I'm going to receive these many items from the vendor, and then the entire cycle from putaways to shipping, picking the item and making sure that it gets shipped to the customer on a real-time basis. This all happens, automatically at the back end. So this is another example where Business Central really has a lot of problem, especially around your stock control, especially around helping you understand that what is my lending cost, right? And because when we are procuring an item from the vendor, it is not just the item that we have paid, and that is something we need to calculate. We have to add the cost of the warehouse, the workers, the transportation. This all combines and it leads to my lending cost. So this is what Business Central can do automatically for the business, and then so the entire cycle, from the sales order to the production. If in case you need more items to procure, it will raise the order. It will get received at your warehouse. So now if you look at all these different departments, they are talking to each other through technology, right? So this is what it does. There is no manual intervention. It just happens smoothly. It really connects these different departments.
So I am a small business and I do not know when do I need this kind of an application, because I might not realize it, because I might have gotten comfortable maybe, and I might have gone to that thinking process that it all works like that.
Yeah.
It's chaotic, it's hard to work, but you have to. So when do I realize that I need this application?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is very common situation that when we
Okay.
talk with companies, this is something which they tend to discuss with us a lot of
Also,
time.
could you give a small example?
So usually, let's say if you are a business that has grown well and are now looking to scale their operations, and you are currently relying on limited technologies that you have got, it could be a basic accounting application, or you are relying on a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of legacy system that you probably implemented some few years back. Then what you're looking at, you don't have the clear visibility of your business. You don't know which department is doing what, and you don't know the margins. You don't know the profitability around that, and you also are not sure how to scale your operations in this competitive world, because your competition might be going at adopting different technologies. So if you're a business, especially a small business, you've got your core finance, ARAP. Now you're not able to process your orders on runtime basis. You don't have clear visibility of your lead times, clear visibility of your stock levels, clear visibility of when will I get that item and then I have to make sure that that item gets here, because in the end it's all about customer retention. You have to make sure that you are selling the right product at the right time and selling it to the customer that want now.
Right.
Because in this day and age, customers, they don't want to wait for their items to be received, right? If they have placed an order, they want that item then and there. So then you have to really understand, do I really have the technology to let my customer know that this is how much time it's going to take me to ship that product to you? And then you add another layer of manufacturing, because even let's say you are a trading business, you still are dependent on your vendor, right? They might be sourcing that product from somewhere. You might be sourcing directly from the production facility somewhere in the UK or outside the world. You then have to understand what time I'm going to receive this item and at what time I'm going to ship this item to the customer. So there's a lead time, right? So usually, application like Business Central, it gives that real-time visibility that this is my lead time right now, knowing my stock level and knowing my, upcoming purchase orders that I'm going to receive from the vendors. So this is the typical scenario, and then you end up managing different applications from finance. You might have different applications for your warehouse. Your let's say third-party logistic provider might be using some other application, so there is no integration between their solution and your application. Then another scenario could be that I have a business operations in my country, but then I have another entity somewhere outside my country, right? So this is where the complication of intercompany transactions, managing multiple legal entities under single system comes in. And this is what Business Central does beautifully. It allows companies to manage different legal entities. As a business owner, as a group owner, I want to see the consolidated reports of my business, that which entity is doing what. So if you look at the scenario, let's say if you are a business, you are in the UK and you are sourcing the item from, let's say, Asia, from any country, and you know that any item would take at least 4 to 6 weeks on the water to get to the UK, and then you add another few days for the inbound logistics in terms of shipping that item to the customer. So you really have to make sure that you are giving that trust to the customer, that you have placed an order to us, knowing that we will ship that item at this time. Because what happens if there will be any gap in all these processes, your vendor may say that, they will ship the item then and there, but there might be some delays from their end as well, right? And there might be some delays from your production facility, right? So this is, and this creates a lot of problem for the companies, because every customer, if you are placing an order, if you're receiving an order from the customer, and if you are shipping that item to that customer at the right time, you get a chance to get repeat orders from them, right? So it's a recurring revenue that you don't want to lose. So if that would happen, then you lose the trust of your customer, and
Indian customer is the king.
you really have to make sure that
quality service to them.
absolutely.
And in order to do that, you need a very precise application.
You can also adopt some technologies as well. You can customize the application in a way. Let's say I want to keep track of my import containers that I'm getting from some other country.
So I can check that as well.
Absolutely. So there is the possibility that can be done into Business Central. That will really help me understand what is my lead time for the customer, right? So this is what it does. So you can then manage your intercompany transitions. You can let's say manage different legal entities, and then comes the multiple currency feature which is there in Business Central. So you can do the transition in GBP, USD, AUD, or whatnot.
I've heard a lot about other ERP applications, right? I wonder how Business Central is different from them.
It's pretty interesting question, especially for companies that are in the market looking for different applications like ERP applications. They don't know, what Microsoft is doing in this space. So first and foremost is that although it caters and covers all the core modules that business can expect from an ERP like this, as I said about, from finance, AR, AP, production, warehouse, budgeting, fixed assets, service management. This is what Dynamics 365 does way, way better than any other ERP application is the entire ecosystem of Microsoft that it comes with. So Microsoft interoperability is basically allows Dynamics 365 to Central.
Can you explain that term?
Yeah, absolutely. So interoperability means that Dynamics 365 Business Central connects with other applications, not only from Microsoft, with other applications as well.
Dynamics 365 applications,
Yeah.
like the Outlook, excellent.
Absolutely. So you can integrate that with Microsoft Teams. You've got the option of exporting your data into Excel. You have the export import functionality in that. It integrates with your Microsoft 365 Outlook as well. So let's say if you receive an email from a customer or a vendor, you don't need to jump between different applications. You can actually process the order right up there from the Outlook itself. I'll give you an example. So let's say you receive customer email that they want to place an order for specific units at this specific price.
Right.
So you have the add-on of Business Central that can be available into your Outlook application. So from there on only, you can process the orders. You don't need to go back to Business Central and manually enter the input of that specific order. So this is what it does. And along with that, you have the Power BI, which sits within Business Central. So if you're a business that relies a lot of, dashboards and real-time analytics, you can explore Power BI. It sits within that. So Power BI is a BI tool from Microsoft that allows companies to get all the dashboards all on real-time basis. Let's say I want to see my top 10 sales orders for this month. I want to see who are my in top 5 vendors. I want to see what is the cash flow I've got for this month. I want to understand, how many orders that we have processed this month. I want a clear visibility of my stock for this month. So there are series of reports that can be built directly within Power BI, which again is part of Business Central. So this is what it does seamlessly. There is no intervention of any partner or data connector or anything that you as a business need to rely on. Microsoft gives you all these integrations out of the box. So, for instance, if you are a user and if you are working on a specific task into Business Central, and you want to assign that task to a specific user, and you want to coordinate, let's say, with specific colleague of yours, you can do that within my Business Central and Teams as well. So you can coordinate directly. Okay, I'm working on this sales order, and I need your help. So you can assign the task to the user through Teams, and then you can have a real-time collaboration. So this is the power of Microsoft Dynamics, and this is what it does. Along with that, companies they also have a lot of challenges in managing their data. So, for instance, if a company have got number of data sources and the database size is huge, and they want to keep it somewhere in the cloud.
Okay.
So you can have the power of uploading all that data onto SharePoint, and that SharePoint link can be embedded into Business Central. So, for instance, let's say I am moving from some legacy application to Business Central. I want to keep track of my last 7 years sales orders or purchase orders. I want to keep that because for my auditing purpose. So you can store that data into SharePoint, and then it can then be linked into Business Central. This is just one scenario. There are different scenarios that can be utilized and leveraged with this entire Microsoft ecosystem.
I also want you to elaborate what is licensing.
Mm-hmm. So, Business Central licensing comes with two key layers. So it is divided into two different business process scenarios.
Okay.
Either you are a trade and distribution business, or you are a manufacturing and service management business. So if you are a business that just does trading, so you need your finance, AR, AP, inventory, warehousing, and budgeting module. So you can opt for the Business Central Essential license. That is the base layer of the license that covers all these modules. Now, if you are, then the next layer is called a premium license. So if you're a company that you do manufacturing, you have your own manufacturing and production facility, and you also want to make sure that you service those items for your customers, you can opt for this premium license. So one thing I want to add here is that there is no option of opting for both of these licenses.
Right.
You either have to opt for the essential license or premium license. So that totally depends on what business you does, and what exactly you would need from the application. For limited users, you have a team member license that allows the user to read, view, do approvals into the application. We want to see the reports of specific departments, let's say. So you can opt for the team member license. You don't need to opt for full user license for those users.
So it matters on the size of the company as well. Like if I'm a small business, so I'll take the first licensing you stated.
It depends what business processes you do. So if you could be a small business, but you produce items, right? So you need to go for the premium license than the essential license.
So, okay, great.
And there are companies that are, they're big, massive operations, and they just don't do manufacturing. They just do trade distribution. They can go for essential license. They don't need to go for the premium license per se.
I'm really curious about the real stories now from you. After hearing so much about this application, it is actually tremendous, what I said earlier. It is very innovative, and I'm very much eager now from you now to give me some real life stories. What Dynamics Square went through, and what was its experience, and how your clients also reverted back.
So we actually have a client which was using these two applications, Business Central and Sales CRM, and they've been using it for quite a while now. And when we had this initial discussion with them, we realized that the implementation wasn't done properly.
Okay.
There were a lot of loopholes in terms of workflow automation, in terms of the integrations between these two applications. And they were also relying a lot on the other different applications, which they are also not sure why they were there at the first place.
I see.
Yeah, so this happened actually when we discussed with them in detail, and we realized that that they probably don't need those many applications, that they are also not sure what they are doing in the business. So when we realized that, we understood the requirement, and we let them know that along with managing their back office operations, from Business Central and the sales process, which will be done through the CRM application, they also would require a WMS solution, a Shopify connector to integrate Business Central with their Shopify website. Along with that, they also would require a document capture solution for their AP automation, because they were doing a lot of automation of not processing of invoices manually. So now, if you look at this scenario, this company was investing more than 100K every year purely on technology,
My goodness.
and they were with different partners. Along with Dynamics 365, they were relying on different ISP solutions. And when we discussed with them in detail, we realized that some of those ISP solutions that they have got, the functionality of those solutions are standard feature in Business Central. So we then discussed with them, then why did they opted for these add-ons? Why, when it's a standard feature in Business Central? They were completely shocked. They were not aware that Business Central can do so much for them. We then did a detailed study of their business processes, did a detailed analysis sessions with them, understanding all the processes in and out. We then implemented Business Central, sales, customer service, mobile WMS solution,
Okay.
document capture solution, and then we then integrated their website with the Business Central. So it's a complete ERP focused digital transformation that we did for the company, and we did that in a span of 4 or 5 months, where we did implemented all these solutions. And what happened is that they got rid of all these different applications and different vendors, and eventually we became their one-stop shop, not only from Microsoft Dynamics perspective, but also from the ISP solutions that we work directly in the Microsoft ecosystem.
That's amazing.
So now this is one of the scenario. There are different other scenarios that we
I'm
have
sure.
companies with.
Yeah.
So I think it all comes down to being empathetic towards your customer,
Exactly.
really understanding their requirement in and out, and do not try to sell something which you know that might not be useful for the business, because it's very important that you are customer focused and you are doing the right things for your customer. And I think it all comes down to being empathetic and really understanding their processes in and out, and let them know that what they are doing is there's actually a better way of doing it, and you probably don't need those many technology arms. You probably may need a couple of applications, but you don't need 8 to 10 applications just to manage your operations. So I think there's a lack of information and understanding. There's a gap definitely in terms of knowledge base,
Right.
and this is our job to make sure that we let the business know. Because if you look at this scenario, whenever a business would like to implement a new solution like Business Central, they usually have the tendency that whatever we are doing right now, we want to do it in the new application. We actually have a different approach to that, because it's not just the implementation we do. We do the consulting as well, because we understand both the technology and the business processes.
As a
So-
as a Microsoft partner, it's a huge responsibility for you to first understand their business and then their pain point,
Absolutely.
and then go ahead. And that's a great thing that Dynamic Square provides consulting as well. That's a really good approach. Yeah.
And this is what we do, and our job is not just to copy paste what they are doing right now into Dynamics 365. We also have to let them know that there's a better way of doing it, and perhaps what you're doing right now, the automations that we can bring in, and we can perhaps get rid of some of the technology that you have right now. So as I said, and it all comes down to understanding the processes and making sure that you are following the right steps to implement a solution in a timely manner in the budget that you have allocated, you have given to them, and this is what eventually makes a successful ERP implementation.
Finally, coming to our last segment now. I've heard so much about this today. I've got so much knowledge about this application thanks to you a lot. But it kind of scares me. If it's cost effective, I'm really, because small businesses go through a lot already with their expenses and inventory and everything, the losses as well. So I am a little concerned about them, that this is such a wide, beautiful application. Is it cost effective for the small businesses?
So when we talk about cost effective, there are two costs that actually get involved in any implementation. The first is the licensing cost, which every business has to pay to make sure that your application is up and running and they are able to use the application on every month. You then have the implementation cost, which really bothers companies because there is a notion in the market that it takes actually a good amount of money and investment to implement a solution like Business Central, which is not true to an extent. It all depends upon the use case and what exactly is in the scope for that implementation. But
because it's customizable as well. Right?
It is customizable, but it's also about you should know that you should first know the technology in and out in detail, and because this is where the capabilities of the team really matters. An implementation can take up to 2 months, and it can take up to 6 months as well, depending upon the capabilities of the partner as well, right? But there is definitely, but it's not like that. It's going to cost you £1 million to implement a solution like Business Central. Definitely, there will be complexities, and that is something which we are open to discuss. But based on our experience, we actually have helped companies save up to 30-40% cost on the implementation without compromising on the quality of work, and with making sure that we do the right things with detailed project governance policies in place. So yeah, and if you're a small business, that's
a little for me.
Yeah, it's not going to take it's not going to take a huge investment for you to implement a solution like this. All you have to do is talk to us, get an understanding of what that cost would look like, and we are more than happy to share all that details as we move forward. So yeah.
So that's all for today, I guess. And thank you so much, Nitesh, for joining us in again. And I'm sure this podcast is going to be helpful to so many people out there in this world, in this market, and we really need more people like you to spread that kind of a knowledge. And thank you so much again.
Thank you so much, Amita, for having me again here, and I'm really looking forward to discuss more as we move forward. So
likewise.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So that's a wrap up for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Business Central podcast. And if you found this insightful, follow us for more. Of course, we are going to talk about Business Central more in vast detail. So until next time, stay ahead with smarter solutions and keep innovating. This is Ramita signing off.